Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. I am saying hello today from Erfurt, the capital of Thüringen. I decided to take a little trip today on this very spring-like winter day. Must be global warming. I decided to come here today to show you the place and how subtle and quiet it actually looks, how innocent it looks. But it was this place here where the mask has finally slipped. It was this building that you can see in front of the camera right now, where the Liberal Party guy, Mr. Kemmerich, was elected to be governor or MP of the state of Thüringen. He was elected with the votes of the conservative centrist CDU, Angela Merkel's party. Of course, not many people think anymore that this is actually a conservative party, and the patriotic AfD. So centrists, patriots and liberals. That should be a good mix, but not for Angela Merkel and not for the communist Bodo Ramelow, who used to rule here before. They don't like this, so they decided, or Angela Merkel actually, and this is what I mean by the mask has not only slipped but fallen down entirely. Angela Merkel was in South Africa at the time, and she said in a speech that the act of voting for someone who is not someone that she likes, basically, or someone whose opinion she doesn't share, that is an unforgivable act and must be corrected immediately. So the building that you can see here is the Ministry for Environment and Energy, and I saw that there is a Tesla being charged in front of this building, probably using my tax money. No, not probably, but certainly using my tax money. Very nice. And it's a very quiet neighborhood here. It's south of the old town. I came here to show you this building, this place, because I think this was a historical moment in the history of the Federal Republic of Germany. It is the moment when, or from which on I should say, everyone should be able to see plainly that we are not really living in a democracy. It is more a pretend democracy, a stage play that is being performed for us. Some people call it a democracy simulation, which is also a good term, I think. But you must be aware that for as long as you do everything the powerful people at the top or internationalist, globalist elites want, as long as you play the game, as long as you read the books they want you to read and say what they want to hear and vote for the parties that they control, as long as you do all that, everything looks and feels perfectly like a modern Western democracy. But once you step out of line, once you do something that they don't approve of, then democratic rules and the rules of parliament, all these nice things, they don't apply anymore, and they don't apply to you, certainly. So this is why I came here, because sometimes I guess it's important to go to those very places, and also because I wanted to go to Erfurt for a longer time already. That was on my list, actually. It also has a very nice cathedral and a very nice citadel, or kind of a fortification, a fortress, right next on a hill, right next to the cathedral. So I will check that out later. I already did that a little bit when I was actually filming from a big demonstration, a big gathering of left-wing people in there is a big square, a market square next to the cathedral, and there were the usual suspects like Antifa guys, Social Democrats and labor union guys, and they were saying once again that people who think differently, people who stand with Germany, people who are for controlled migration or stricter policies for immigration and also for lower taxes, for example, these people are not good Germans, not citizens that you can leave alone or leave in peace. They have to be fought against actively. At the fringes, actually, there were a couple of people that were shaking their heads and that were not at all in agreement with what the radical speakers at this event were saying. I actually talked to some of them. There was one nice couple from Saxony who said that this is absolutely outrageous what they're saying and what names they're calling people who voted for the AfD, for example, and that this crowd of I don't know, was it 2,000 people? I don't know, that they are pretty much brainwashed, and it scares them, and I can understand because they are mainly targeting the children. There were also Friday for Future speakers again, these radical, angry sounding teenage girls that use vocabulary from the 1950s or something. The fact that they're targeting especially young children already now in these youth groups and these networks, left-winged networks, is actually very scary. I can just hope that at some point they wake up, but for the time being, at least what we see on the streets, the mainstream opinion is absolutely left-winged here, absolutely. And the reason for the fact that the perceived mainstream opinion is so left-winged is that you don't have any negative consequences to fear when you speak out in a very radical left-wing way. It is very clear, it is communicated to us by the mainstream media and also by the schools and every social group or sphere, basically, that it's okay to be left-winged, even very left-winged, but if you say something patriotic, you get in trouble. Of course, you don't get in jail or something like that, but you would be ostracized at least, or fired from your job, or you get in trouble. And this is why people who today at this demonstration were not in favor of what the speakers were saying. They were kind of shaking their heads, but they weren't really speaking out loudly. So they tried to make sure that they're not easily identified as people who have a different opinion. And I just don't believe that the majority is that left-winged. And maybe here in Thüringen, maybe here in Erfurt, because it's the capital, it's a bigger city. But I think in general, in Germany, I can't imagine that the majority is that far left, at least. So to sum up, here in Erfurt, Thüringen, lots of people actually walking around with Antifa flags. There are also ACAB, various forms of left-wing graffiti everywhere. But people who disapprove of the current power structure in Germany and of Angela Merkel's leftist regime, they don't show it that openly because they are afraid, obviously, that there are negative consequences, that they get in trouble at their jobs, for example, or that their families will be targeted also, like the families of several people in the CDU, in the FDP and in the AfD for a long time already. So this is why the perceived public opinion that you see is rather left-winged. When you walk around in the city, you see lots of young people and old people, of course, who are openly leftist and who show that with various Antifa flags and other party flags and stuff like that. So it looks kind of nice here. The birds are chirping, almost like springtime. And this very subtle, very unremarkable building here, that is the Landtag, where Mr. Kemmerich was elected, but was not allowed to actually step into that office, or actually to practice that office that he was elected to carry out for the state of Thüringen. He was forced to step back by the leader of the federal government, by our chancellor, Angela Merkel. He was forced to step back. And yeah, this is something that, at least to my knowledge, has never happened before in the Federal Republic of Germany. This is a new low, even for Angela Merkel's reign, which I hope is over very soon. And these are interesting times, very interesting times. We don't really know what will be happening next, where this is going. Things are starting to get more and more polarized politically in Germany. Especially the left is turning up the heat pretty much. The fanaticism and the hysteria, maybe hysteria is a good word, of the left is getting more and more ridiculous each day. Also in the United States you can see that very well, or you could see it very well with Trump derangement syndrome. It is a little bit like that here. It is pretty much the same, I would almost say, just that it's not focused on a single person, but more on a party, on the AfD, and everything that has to do with that. Patriotism, conservative values, family values, all that is under attack right now, and it will get more and more extreme in the coming month and years. So everybody should try to stay safe. So I will show you a couple of videos or some footage of the demonstration near the cathedral. I took some pictures, I took some videos, and I hope they turned out well. Yeah, everything looks very peaceful. There was food and music and everyone was having a good time, but I think the only reason for that was because they knew that they are among themselves. There are no people with a different opinion. There are no people from the German opposition there. Everyone there was a devout follower of Merkel and Ramelow, and who want a quote-unquote open society, which means of course open for everybody, but for honest, good Germans. So yeah, check out this footage, and I hope you check out my other videos as well. Take care, be safe wherever you are. Servus, Kameraden. Yeah, so here you can see the other side of the parliament building. Looks a little nicer already. I don't really know if that belongs to the Landtag. Over there was this park we had just seen, where I was just speaking. There's a little tramway going here, pretty nice. These streetcars. Yeah, as I said, very quiet, nice neighborhood actually. Yeah, this is it. The front entrance then to the Thüringer Landtag, the state parliament. So, I'm taking a last look at the Landtag, at the state parliament of Thüringen, and now I'm heading back to the city. I want to see what else is going on there, maybe talk to some more people and have a beer and another bratwurst maybe. You must know Thüringen is famous for their sausages, for their bratwurst. and they're pretty good. I had one at noon already. Maybe I'm getting something else now. Heading back to the city. Bye bye.